Joining us now for 5 insightful minutes is Scott Langdoc. Scott is the global head of all grocery, chain, drug, and convenience retail strategy at Amazon Web Services. Scott, what is taking place in the grocery, drug, and convenience space right now in terms of what is also top of mind for retailers, and how do their concerns pertain to the cloud?
I'd say, kind of top of the list for what's, a challenge for grocery and fast-moving consumer good retailers is changing consumer behaviors. I mean, that hasn't necessarily been a new concern, but I think, both pre and post-COVID, buying patterns have changed, demographics are shifting. And so trying to stay ahead of that, trying to adapt selling models, channel strategies, product availability, product assortment, to match those changing buying behaviors has really been a challenge. And while retailers have been spending a lot of energy, both operationally and technically, on customer-facing and data-driven projects, what we've seen over the last 18 to 24 months is a real focus on cost reduction. And so a lot more emphasis on areas of the business where they want to drive cost out, things like loss prevention, labor optimization, reducing the cost of fulfilling online orders. So while there's still the focus on a number of those revenue generating projects, that cost reduction focus has been kind of key of late. In terms of the cloud, I think retailers are realizing just the cost advantages of shifting a number of their workloads to the cloud, and now they're kind of looking for those additional solution capabilities that will, drive both efficiency and top line performance.
So Scott, you bring up a really important point, because within the drug and grocery and convenience segment, we know that the margins are thinner than any other industry. So as retailers are thinking about AI investments that are really going to drive, those cost reductions that are going to boost profitability, like you were talking about, what factors do they need to consider?
Margins are thinner, but one of the things that we're always intrigued to see is a really measurable wedge between segment leaders and segment followers, driven by the fact that we see leaders investing in both top-line innovations, those that help to drive top-line revenue, drive top-line growth, and a focus on those optimization and cost reduction, bottom line initiatives. Examples of like the top line initiatives we're seeing a lot of focus on is in the area of using demand forecasting to drive proper pricing recommendations, to see that same demand forecast and customer intelligence drive a new level of personalization in terms of the offers being generated to customers. We have a large grocery customer that in implementing that hyper-personalization saw 98% growth in market basket size, saw overall growth of 2.5 times in offer-related revenue, while at the same time, the offers were intriguing enough to increase the conversion, meaning those opened and reacted to offers well over 100%. So we've, when you see those kinds of benefits, that really helps to improve margins from both the top line and the bottom line perspective.
Before we let you go, Scott, I want to take a longer term view. I want to get your opinion on the long term. So as we consider that, what would you suggest retailers need to take action on today to drive more value in the future?
In support of a lot of the innovation initiatives that I talked about earlier on the top line and the bottom line, there's still that need to focus on the infrastructure, right? Making sure that you've got the proper level of maturity in your data, your product data, your customer data, your operational data, because that's the information and insight that's going to be necessary to drive the kind of efficient and accurate insights that come out of these AI-driven applications. So a focus on the infrastructure is important. Another area is when you're building out new capabilities like personalization, asking yourself the question, am I making investments that truly influence purchase behavior? Am I helping drive a customer's trip frequency, their basket size? Those kind of important metrics that we all know are related to the fact that they're responding to kind of the offers and engagements that a customer is making. And that's one of the big areas that we see generative AI having an opportunity to help with. At Amazon Web Services, one of our approaches is to give a wide variety of large language models to customers so that they can choose the right LLM for the right use case. We embed kind of the appropriate guardrails for security and privacy into the building of those applications. So that's something that we want to continue to contribute to as these retailers are identifying the critical generative AI use cases that they have. And then lastly, with all of this new insight and all of these new business signals, how do we make sure that that retailer is tying together that analysis with the required action? What levels of improvement and automation are they doing to ensure that when they get a business signal, that business signal is reacted to, measured, and responded to in the most agile way possible? Because ultimately, those retailers who can stay agile and stay respondent to the different market signals and customer signals, I think, are going to be the ones that win in this hyper competitive world.
Wow, great stuff. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.